Hello there, World of Tankers. Welcome back to another one of my videos. I am Blitz, and today I'm going to be talking about the Object 140. Now, real quick before I do get into this video, I just want to say that currently I should be on a plane to Ohio. So if any of you are wondering why I'm not posting as much over this week, I'm going to be gone until Saturday. I'm going to try my best to get some videos out for you guys. But as I said, I am going to be on vacation, and I'm going to be spending time with my family and having a little fun. So I'm going to, try and get some videos out, but if I can't, I just want to let you guys know now that nothing happened to me. I'm just on vacation. Well, you might be asking, why aren't I doing a video on the T62A due to its recent buff? Well, I'm guessing a lot of you guys already have watched videos from me. See, I'm not sure if Bushka or anybody else did one, but I'm guessing you guys have already found out a lot about the tank and whether or not it really is a lot better. But today, I wanted to talk about the Object 140 because a lot of people have been saying it's been completely rendered useless since this new update with the 62A because now it has an extra degree of gun depression over the Object 140. However, I actually wanted to say that I personally like the Object 140 better because there actually are some really good things that the 140 has that a lot of people don't know but are actually a lot better than the T62A, so I'll start getting right into them. Now, the first thing is the statistics written on paper. Now, I know a lot of you guys already know that the 62A now has one more degree of gun depression than the 140. It's got better aiming time, better dispersion. However, there are a couple things that the Object 140 actually gains over the 62A statistically. The first thing is it actually goes 5 kilometers per hour faster, which may not sound like a lot, but 5 kilometers can really make a big difference. It can change the fact of being able to escape certain medium tanks when you need to run away, being able to rush into certain positions, get up certain spots on the maps with hills and stuff, and not to mention the Object 140 has a little bit better power to weight ratio, so it's going to really help you accelerate a little faster and get across the map better. Not to mention, with that extra speed, it also has a better camouflage rating. It's got 29% while sitting still and 22% while moving. And the difference is that on the T62A, it's 2% less on both of those numbers. And that also may not sound like a huge amount, but if you are running away from certain tanks, you might not get spotted in the Object 140 because it is a little bit of a sleeker profile compared to the 62A. And as well, camouflage after shooting is better in the Object 140, which can be a huge benefit, because if you're sitting behind a bush, you might not get detected when you could be detected in the 62A, and those are just some of the minor details in the statistics that do make a little bit of a difference. Now, the second thing that the Object 140 has a great advantage over the 62A is the main ammo that it shoots, which is AP ammo, compared to the APCR that the T62A fires. Now, not only does the AP rounds lose a lot less penetration over distance compared to APCR rounds, it also has something a greater angle of called shell normalization. Now, this is a very tough topic to get into. Some of you guys might know what this is, and a lot of you probably have no clue what that word even means. So I'm going to break into it, or at least a simpler term of it. If you guys want to know more on it and expand more, I'm going to link Wargaming's video in the description down below on all the ammos and everything like that if you do want to learn a little bit more and expand on that. But my understanding of shell normalization is that when a shell hits an enemy angle, let's say you're shooting at a tank at a 45-degree angle. Now, AP rounds have 5 degrees of shell normalization. So if you were to hit that 45-degree angle, when the shell hits the tangent of that armor, it's going to normalize 5 degrees, making that effective armor, which was 40, now to 35 millimeters, or 35 of a degree. So it's actually decreasing the armor thickness greatly. And APCR shells do have shell normalization, but they lose quite a bit of a percentage, only down to 2%. So it's going to take that 40-degree angle and change it to a 38-degree angle. And while that still does help with penetration, the Object 140 just has a much larger edge over the 62A when it does come down to the numbers. Because you can see I now brought up a armor inspector profile of the E100. And you can see the T62A is aiming at it, and the lower plate effectively is around 225-230 millimeters thick. However, I'm going to quickly swap to the Object 140, and it immediately changes to about 210-215 millimeters on effective armor. So you can see it takes off about 15 to 20 millimeters of penetration. And when you're aiming at certain vehicles at a funky angles, it really can make a very, very large difference on whether you do penetrate or not. So even though the 62A on paper looks like it does have more penetration, it actually doesn't. So that is one thing a lot of people don't know about. So if you didn't know about that, I would as I said, suggest to go check out Wargaming's video because they do a very good job of explaining not only shell normalization, but the 3 calibers rule and a bunch of other rules, in fact, that are very hard to talk about in one single video. And another thing that a lot of people really do not know about the Object 140 compared to the T62A is that the Object 140 has a much, much better hull than the T62A. Because if you take a look at a T62A, you'll notice that the complete side of the vehicle is flat. But if you take a look at the Object 140 in Blitz, it's very hard to tell, but it actually is completely sloped. So you can see I brought up a little thing again from Armor Inspector, and you can see that the entire edge of the tank slopes in. So what that does is when you angle the vehicle at, just a little bit of a steep angle, you can actually get some very, very nice auto ricochets right on the side. And that's why if you ever notice when you're shooting at an Object 140, or you just get these random bounces in the vehicle on the side and they go into the track, they don't penetrate, but they do break your track wheel. That's usually what's happening is they're ricocheting right off of that funky armor because it really does make a difference. On some shots, they would have easily gone through if you were in the 62A because that flat armor compared to that curve really can make or break some of your games comparing on what tank you did run. So overall, you can see that not only does the Object 140 have a little bit better penetration, it's also got a better hull. And not only is the side armor better of the Object 140, but it also has a better frontal hull. Now, it's not by a huge amount, but the lower plate is about 200 millimeters thick on the Object 140 compared to the T62A. It's only about 150, and the upper plate on the Object is also about 210 thick compared to the T62A. It's only about 178, 190 millimeters thick, so it's not even closely related to the armor, and that's just because, as I said, the Object 140 is a little bit of a lower profile, so the angling on the top of the vehicle is a little bit steeper. However, there is one big advantage the T62A gets over the Object 140, and this is one thing I really wish the Object 140 had, is a very well-armored turret. Going through a T62A's turret is almost completely impossible unless it's sitting still and you have a nice heat round that has like 350 plus pen. But the issue is the Object 140's turret is kind of crap, to be honest. It's only about 260-70 millimeters effective, and that may mount some standard rounds, but as soon as people load heat, it's just going to completely overmatch the turret. And that's just the, aiming dead at it. The top of the turret's even weaker. It's got pretty big cupolas, so that is one really big downside for me personally in the Object 140, is I really wish Wargaming would give it a turret like the T62A. That would make the tank so strong, but to be honest, I understand why it doesn't have such a strong turret, because it would make the tank, in my opinion, a little bit overpowered, because not only does it have a better hull, as I said, it's got shell normalization, it's got so many things going for it, and a lot of people don't really understand this. And when Wargaming first said that they were going to buff this T62A, I didn't really understand why. The first reason I thought was just because more people were going for the 62A, they were relatively making the stats worse because not as many people want to get the Object 140, just because looking at it statistically, it looks worse in every single scenario. However, what I think is actually happening is that people are just doing better in the Object 140 because it has that shell normalization. It somehow survives more because of that funky hull armor that does decide to bounce shells randomly. And the 62A, to be honest, just isn't really a reliable tank to bounce shells in. And the gun, to be honest, the APCR, I hate it. Half the shells auto-ricochet off tanks like E100s. They don't penetrate through the tracks. It's just a lot harder to snap shots across distance because, as I said, APCR loses a lot more penetration over distance compared to the Object 140. And you might think, well, doesn't APCR travel a lot quicker than the AP rounds of an Object 140? Well, the nice thing is that both of their shell velocities are exactly the same, so you're not going to have to worry about any of the shell velocity dropping on the AP rounds of the Object 140 over the T62A. But you can definitely see that both of these tanks have their strengths and weaknesses. Personally, I prefer the Object 140, but if you like the 62A, I don't blame you. It's also a very, very competitive and strong vehicle, especially after this buff. Now, I'm probably going to make a video on the tank in this, the near future, but right now I just wanted to make a video on the Object 140, let you guys know that I really do like the tank, and that it's still a very good competitor in public games and in raiding battles, to be honest, if you do want to run the vehicle. But other than that, guys, I just wanted to voice my opinion on the tank. You guys let me know what you think of these vehicles in the comments down below. If you disagree, agree, hit that like button down below if you do agree. Disagree if you hit the downvote button, whatever you want. But other than that, guys, make sure to subscribe. We've really been doing a great job on subscribers right now. I'm almost at 5,000. It literally every time I reload YouTube, subscribers, we're going up 10, 20, 30 a day. It's ridiculous how many subscribers you guys are really getting me. So I do want to thank you guys for all of the support you've really given me. But other than that, as always, make sure to subscribe. Have a good day, guys, and I'll see you in the next one.